Hey guys, this is Chandra. I really quickly want to go over the tutorial for this folio that I made. And again, this was using the Hello My Name Is paper collection. And I'm going to, I already cut my paper, I already scored my paper. And so what I'm going to do is walk through that with you now. I'm going to go through all the paper, all the score marks, and then I'll start putting it together. Okay, so the first sheet that you need is an 8.5 by 9 inch sheet. You're going to score on the 8.5 inch side at 1, 1 1/4, 7 1/4, and 8. So this is the 8.5 inch side at the top. Score at 1/2 inch, 1 1/4, 7 1/4, and 8. Then I folded on my score marks. This 1/2 inch flap is where I attached my score tape on both sides. That is the middle. This is the back middle of the album. Next, you're going to need 4 sheets that measure 6.5 by 9. You're going to score them all at 1/2 inch. I folded them and I applied the tape on the inside of the flap. Normally you'd put it on the outside of the flap. Well, on these pages we're going to put it on the front of the flap. Then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have 6 sheets. Six flaps that measure 6 by 4.5, and you're going to score at 1/2 inch on the 4 inch side, or the 4.5 inch side is at the top. You're going to score at 1/2 inch on all 6 of them, and you're going to put the tape on the flap when it's folded. This is unfolded, so you're going to put it on the top of the flap. So when it's folded, it's on the back of the flap. Then you need 2 sheets that measure 6.5 by 10. You're going to score on the 6.5 inch side at 1/2 inch, and on the 10 inch side, you're going to score at 1/2 and 9.5. So stick it in your scoreboard so that the 10 inch side is at the top. You score at 1/2 inch, score at 9.5, rotate it, and score at 1/2 inch. Then when you fold all of your folds, you're going to apply the tape on the back of all the folds like this. You're going to need 2 of those. You need 2 sheets that measure 6 by 9, and you're not going to score them or do anything else to them. You're going to need 2 sheets that measure 5 by 7, and on the 7 inch side, you're going to score at 1/2 inch and 6.5, and the 5 inch side, you're going to score at 1/2 inch. So take it in there on the, so that the 7 inch side is at the top, score at 1/2 inch, score at 6.5, rotate it once, and score at 1/2 inch, and you're going to do that 2 times. You need 2 sheets that measure 10 by 4 1/4. I don't know why there's a shadow. You're going to score on the 10 inch side at 1/2 inch and at 9.5, and on the 4 1/4 inch side at 1/2 inch. So this is the 10 inch side across the top. Score at 1/2 inch, 9.5, rotate it once, score at 1/2 inch. Fold all those in and apply your tape. And like I said, you're going to do that twice. The next ones are going to be 7 by 4. On the 7 inch side, you're going to score at 1/2 inch and at 6.5. And on the 4 inch side, you're going to score at 1/2 inch. Stick it in the 7 inch side at the top, score at 1/2 inch, 6.5, rotate it once, score at 1/2 inch. 2 of those. You're also going to need 2 7 by 5.5. On the 7 inch side, you're going to score at 1/2 inch and at 6.5. The 5 inch side, you're going to score at 1/2 inch. Stick it in 1/2 inch, 6.5, rotate it once, 1/2 inch. And then again, when you fold on all your score marks, you're going to apply your adhesive like that. And the last ones, unless I lost something, okay, are 7 by 7. Again, we're going to score at 1/2 inch and 6.5 inch, and then 1/2 inch. So stick it in to one of the 7 because it's 7 by 7, so it doesn't matter. Just stick it in, score at 1/2 inch, and then at 6.5, rotate it once, and score at 1/2 inch. And you're going to do that twice. First one we're going to be dealing with are the 8.5 by 9 and the 6.5 by 9s and the 6 by 9. What is this? I don't know what that is. The 6 by 9s that we didn't score at all. So what we're going to do is unzoom. We're going to stick 2 like this and then attach the ones that we didn't score on the end on each side. So I'm just going to remove my tape backing and I'm going to apply flap to no flap. So there's flap here and there's no flap on this side. So I'm just going to apply that again on the left side of, you want to get it close to the fold but not on the fold, okay? Because you still want yours to be able to fold. Again, flap to no flap. And this is the section right here that if you're using a 12 by 12 paper, you don't have to cut it at 6 inches. Just leave it by 12, cut it to 9 inches tall, and score it at 6, and then that will make this part here. But since I choose to use 8.5 by 11 paper, this is what I'm doing. So the last sheet I have is just a 6 by 9, and I'm just gonna do the same thing, butt this up against this flap here, making sure it's not too close to that. So now I'm going to deal with the right side, and I'm going to do exactly the same thing. I'm going to apply flap to no flap. I'm having Thanksgiving dinner today at 3. So I have the ham in the roaster, and I am going to shampoo the carpets next. Well, some of the carpets, some of the pots. And then my kids are doing the dishes right now. Well, one son. The other son's still asleep. Okay, so that is that. Now I always have to look back and see how. Okay, so this one folds on top of that. This side folds like that. And then I break over. So this side folds like that. Okay. Now, the first ones that we're going to be doing is not the middle. Okay, this one is the middle, the base, the backing. All right, that's the one that we scored twice. We're going to be dealing with the first panel on the left and the right side. So this panel and this panel. And this is where the 3 pockets go. So you're going to need all your pockets, the 7 by 7 inch pockets. And the 7 by 5.5 and the 7 by 4. Whoops. So the 7 by 7 pocket, on all of these, you're just going to fold them down, take off your score tape, apply the sides down and the bottom, and then apply them right on top of each other. So the 7 by 7 pocket, the biggest pocket, goes down first. And you're going to want to make sure that you're away from the folding. You still want this to fold. Then you're going to apply the next size pocket, which is the 7 by 5.5. You're also going to do that on the other side as well. And the last pocket is the 7x4 pocket. I'm folding up the left side so that I know that I'm not going over the fold mark. This side is going to have to fold over that. It's going to be a little bit different because there is a little bit of a rise in the paper on this side. So you're going to do that on both sides. Now the next panel that we're going to be working with is the one that's on the left side of all your pockets. And that is where we're going to stick the 10 1/4 pocket. Both sides are exactly the same. I'm just showing you one side for time's sake. This one, I'm applying the folded side next to the edge of the paper here. But see how I'm leaving a little bit of a gap in between there? Let me zoom in. See if you can see it. See, there's a little gap in here. It's about a little bit bigger than my bone folder between the score mark. Here's the score mark, and here's the end of the paper so that it'll fold over nicely. You want it to fold over like that. Okay, so that's why I did that. And the next pocket page is the more difficult of the pocket pages, and in my opinion, it's a little bit difficult. So what you need to do is take your 7 by 9.5 sheet, and I believe it's this one. Yes. Okay, I let these to do live because they're a little difficult. So you're going to stick your 7 by 9.5 inch sheet in your scoreboard, okay, so that the 7 inch side is at the top. You're going to score it 1/2 inch, you're going to score it 6.5, and then you're going to rotate it and score it 1/2 inch. But then you're going to lightly score on the 1 inch. I'm talking like you just want to be able to see that there's a line there, but not feel that there's a line there. So score at 1 and at 6. Okay. Do that to both sides. This is where this pocket page is right here. Okay. And you're going to want to cut every 1.5 inches on this. So I'm going to flip it over. You can see that there's barely a little score mark there, and then there's the score mark where we're folding. Let's see. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is get my ruler. I'm going to fold this other thing up so that it's easier to see. You're going to find your ruler. There's not. Oh, here it is. And I'm going to use a Sharpie just so that you guys see it. Okay. So I am going to start at the top. I'm going to line my top of my ruler up. Line my top of my ruler up. And I'm going to line it up right next to that lightly scored mark that we did at 1 inch. Okay. And you're going to make a dot on that line at every 1.5 inches. So 1.5, 3, 4.5, 6, and 7.5. You can do that on both sides. One and a half, 3, 4.5, 6, 7.5. Okay. Then what you're going to do is you're going to use a paper puncher and punch out on those dots. I'm going to use my Crocodile on the smaller hole setting. If it'll fit in there. Yep, it will. Actually, it goes exactly right in there, right to an inch. So just, I don't like when it gets clogged. I hate that. I want to be able to see where I'm putting my Crocodile to make sure I'm lining up my Crocodile. You can see inside my Crocodile. See, there's no hole there. There's the hole. So I'm lining it up right on that hole on that score mark. And if you use this Crocodile, I think the barrel must be an inch because it's lining it up right to that score mark, which is an inch. So all my scores are right on that line. I'm sorry, my holes. Now I'm going to take my ruler and my X-Acto knife, and I'm lining my ruler up to the edge of the hole on this side and the edge of the hole on that side. I'm holding my ruler down and I'm cutting. And don't let your ruler slide. I need to have it closer to me so that my ruler doesn't slide because I need to put pressure on it. So I'm just cutting out this strip right there in the middle of the holes. Okay, so you're going to do that both sheets. And again, I'm only showing you one sheet, but you're doing it on both sheets like this. Try not to do what I just did and go past the hole. You don't want to cut into this other side over here. Whoops. Okay. And those are going to be your pockets. Now, to make these red reinforcers, all I did was cut strips of paper at 1.5 inches by 5.5. So I'll cut this paper. I'm not going to use red, so I don't know what paper I'm going to use to decorate this album yet, so I'm not going to attach this piece down. So the first thing I did was take my We Are Memory Keepers stub punch, and I punched all 4 corners with that stub punch. Then, because all my spaces are, this one's crooked. I can't even see it. This one's crooked. Oops. So all my pieces are supposed to be 1.5 inches. My lines are supposed to be 1.5 inches apart. That's how I wanted it to be. And I must have jacked up this dot here. So this is at 1.5, 3. Yeah, see, I did this dot at 4 1/4. It's supposed to be 4.5. So that's why it's jacked up. But anyway, so I want my line to be in the middle of this 1 1/4 inch strip. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my strip here and I'm going to put my ruler on it, and I'm going to put a dot at the 75. And again, you probably, well, I guess you could flip it over. So I'm just dotting on the half or the 3/4 of an inch, or 75%. Okay, so there's the dots. Now I know that I wanted this to cover it. So what I did was I made sure that the corner of this lined up with that light score line that I did. So I'm going to want my hole to start at that measurement. So then just take your ruler, line it up against both of those little peaks on there, and draw a line. And I'm only using my pen because I need a sharper line. Okay. My lines are actually pretty close to, oh, see, that one's jacked up. That one's above the point. Okay. So you see my lines, and now I'm going to take my hole punch again, and I'm going to punch on that dot, but on that line. And then I'm just going to do the same thing. I'm going to line up my ruler to each side of the line, and I'm going to cut. This one, you want to make sure that it's not crooked, that it doesn't slip, because this is the one that people are really, really, really going to see. Okay. See, so it's going to be like that. And you're going to do this 6 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 times. So then you will just apply adhesive, line it up on there to the score marks like that, and tape it on there. So this is going to be a different color, and that will just give it double reinforcement. And so when you apply your score tape, you want to make sure that you apply it really close to both of these, like butt it up against this and butt it up against that. Make sure you get that covered, and then just put it over there. Again, you want to use a different color if you want it to look like this. Okay. If you use a smaller hole punch, obviously your hole here will be smaller. So let's zoom back out. Okay. So I'm folding in all my score marks because this was the only one I didn't prepare, because I wanted to show you all the mumbo jumbo. Cutting out the squares that are created from folding. I'm going to flip it over. I'm going to apply score tape on the flap in the folded position. So I'm making mashed potatoes, ham, stuffing, corn, yams. What else am I making? Rolls, crescent rolls. I have pumpkin pie. I don't bake, so it's store-bought. I have pumpkin pie, pecan pie, and chocolate pie, which chocolate pie is like very, very gross. Okay, so now you have the 3 flaps. This one, and this one. This one that we just cut is going to go on this last piece on both sides, okay? And I'm just peeling off the tape backing. Okay, again, I want to stick my sides down first and then my bottom, and I'm lining it up on the left side of the page here. I'm making sure. What the hell? Did I use the wrong sheet? You know, this is the second time I made this video because of this stupid pocket right here. How many holes are in this one? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so apparently your sheet needs to be 9.5 by 7. What did I cut it at? 9. Yep, so it needs to be 9.5 by 7, not 9. So I'm going to glue this top part down right here. I don't want this flapping around. I had originally thought that I could stick a tag back there, but once all these tags are in here, it's hard to get a tag back there. So I'm going to use my mono adhesive glue and just squirt it back there. If it comes out, yeah it did. And glue the top part down. Okay. And you can do that on both sides, okay? And then you can put your pieces that we just cut out, wherever it went, on top of that. So now you have this back pocket here. This back pocket is going to be these sheets that measure 6.5 by 10. It's going to be a larger style pocket. So I'm taking off the tape backing, 2 short sides, I'm sticking down, and the long on top of it. So you just want to make sure that you're opening is on the edge of this paper here. So I'm lining it up, and again, I don't want it to be super close to the score line. So I'm making sure it's not touching the score line. And then this last pocket here is, where is my little pocket? It is, aha, it's the 5x7 pocket that we created, and I'm taking off the tape backing there, and I'm putting that on the bottom. And again, I want to try to stay away from the score marks. This side right here is left blank. That's eventually what's going to be the cover of the album. See when you flip it over. And you just do the exact same. Oh, why did it freeze up? It's okay. So this will be the back. So we've done the 3 pockets are on the second panel. The 1 pocket is on the third. No, this would be the first panel, second panel. Third panel is the fancy dancy pockets. Then I'm just pulling it back and I'm flipping it over. This first panel is nothing. Second panel is the half pocket, and then the last one is the bigger pocket. So when I flip it open, I'm going to fold this one little pocket on top of the 3 pockets, and then fold this piece back so it equals that. So that is how to make this. Okay, so we did, let me close my marker here. We did the right side, so I'm going to open up the right side, okay? So when you pull this out, here are the 3 pockets. Now again, this is the middle. Oh crap, I forgot to show you that. Let me show you that. This is the middle, 3 pockets, 1 pocket, and the fancy dancy pocket. So you fold the 1 pocket on top of the 3. So I forgot to show you how to attach these flaps right here. So we're going to do that. I'm opening up my book to this middle section here, right next to the 3 pockets. And you're going to have all of your flaps that were 6 or 4.5 by 6. And you wanted to put the tape on the flap, the back of the flap. So I'm going to pull this down here because I need to see. Oh, you see my nose. Okay, so that's the first flap. Now we want a 1/2 inch in between here. So you could either measure it or take one of the flaps that you're not using yet, fold it, butt it up against there, fold it open so that right here is the 1/2 inch gap, and then just butt this one up against that one. And then that one you can pull out and apply it there. Hold on to the flap, open it up, and line this one up. Open it up, line it up again. Open it up. Put this one up again. Open that up. Line this one up. Open that up. And then now I'm getting to the bottom, the last one where we have no more spacers left. I'm taking this one and I'm butting it up to the bottom. And I'm applying it down. That is all the little flaps. So that is complete. Now, the tags measure 4.5 by 5.5. You're going to need 2 of those. 2 5x5s, 2 8.5 by 5s. Then you're going to need a 2.5 by 4 3/4. Those first measurements that I gave you were for the tags for here. Now these measurements are for these tags right here. So 2.5 by 4 3/4, 4 by 4 3/4, 5.5 by 4 3/4, 7 by 4 3/4, 8.5 by 4 3/4. This is 8.5 by 4 3/4. And you're going to need two that measure 8 3/4. No, this one is this one is 8 3/4 by 5 3/4. The one that goes inside this pocket here is either 8.5 by 5 3/4 or no, 8 3/4 by 5 3/4. My God, 8 3/4 by 5 3/4. Or you can take one sheet of 8.5 by 11 cardstock and fold it in half and make like I did, make the little book. I prefer the little book. So just take an 8.5 by 11 sheet of cardstock, fold it in half, bam, decorate it, stick it in your pocket. You could do that for this tag as well. This is 8.5 by 5.5. And that is it. I will put the measurements again on my blog. I don't know when my blog post will be done. I don't know when this is going to be uploaded. I don't know. So I have to go clean more now. Thank you. Goodbye.